Hey everybody, what's up? This is Tim Hart, branch manager of Van Dyke Mortgage here in Fort Myers, Florida. Welcome to another episode of The Heartbeat for Realtors. I have today my friend and neighbor, we're neighbors, Tara Molloy from Staging Matters. Tara, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you, Tim?
Doing good. Thanks for coming on. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Hey, so had you on. You've been in this industry for a long time here in Southwest Florida.
Yeah.
And you have a company called Staging Matters. So I thought it'd be cool to have you on to talk about staging and how that helps listings sell. So if you don't mind filling us in, tell us about your company, Staging Matters.
Absolutely. Well, actually, we started probably about, I'd say 15 years ago. And it kind of started with one of the properties that I had for sale, and it just was not selling. And so basically, everyone could come in. It was really dark. It was an old Spanish house, and so dark wood everywhere. But I mean, it was a beautiful custom home, and we had renovated it. And everyone just kept coming in and saying it was dark. And so then finally I thought, okay, we got to do something here, because I'd say about 80% of the buyers can't picture anything unless it's kind of there for them. They kind of don't know. And it was a hard layout to kind of understand too. Once it had furniture in it, it made sense. But without it, it was really hard to kind of figure out, where the family room was, where the hangout area, where the dining room, because it was kind of open concept. And so what we did is we actually brought some furniture in, put some pictures on the walls, moved some different artwork, things like that. Some sofas, some tables, things to kind of spruce up the kitchen and whatnot. And then we started having real interest. And then the comment wasn't, it was dark anymore. It was actually all positive comments. So kind of from that point forward, we kind of realized there was a need for it. And then we had been asked by a couple of my friends that were in real estate, some of their advice. They were more builders. So, we come in, kind of stage a couple of things for them, kind of put some plants in. And so then that kind of developed. And so then we started its own separate company. So it's completely separate from our real estate company. So.
Right. And so with you noticing how much that helped the sale of your house and maybe the need in our market, you guys decided to create Staging Matters?
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it just made such a big difference. And it's something that I truly love. I always say I do real estate to support my staging habit, because that's my favorite thing. So, and we work with a lot of local realtors too. So it's kind of nice from that standpoint. We've done jobs for like Cornerstone, Coastal. We've done them for Realty Rents, Premier Plus. We just did a new construction build out in Serengeti, out in Alva. So we're kind of everywhere, and we work with a lot of different companies under the Staging Matters brand, and stage their properties for sale as well.
Gotcha. So, yeah, and that's funny you bring that up. Is that was one of the things I was thinking about is, would another agent here in town, since you're an active agent, be worried about, referring you a deal, since you are in the industry?
No, and actually I'm actually the broker for our company. So I've done this for a very long time. So I know where the line is, and I know never to cross it. And everything we have for staging is specifically geared to Staging Matters. Like our normal email comes to Riverside, but our staging, we have a completely separate email at Gmail, which is stagingfortmyers@gmail.com. And then everything we send from the accounts actually say Staging Matters. So, and normally too, when we work with the other agents, we usually send them the information and then they pass it on to the clients. So like I said, so everything that they see from our end says Staging Matters. It really doesn't have a reference back to Riverside at all.
Yeah, and you guys would get a horrible name in the community anyways.
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes too, that the people that we've worked with once always refer us. So they know there's never any issues. So like I said, we've had that reputation for a long time, but it's hard for newer agents to understand that because it's such a competitive business, the real estate end is. But like I said, I'm a broker. I never cross that line. So.
Gotcha. Well, let's get into the benefits of this home staging, because I'm really curious. So do you have, I want to ask maybe specific questions to the stats, but do Can you fill me in on a few things? Like why? I get the appeal of it. You walk in, you don't see an empty house,
Yeah.
right? And so, but what are are there stats behind it that prove like this house is vacant and it didn't sell for X amount of time, or maybe it sold for X amount less than a staged house? Do you
Yeah.
have any stats like that?
And there are, and it really depends on the market too, and also the price point, obviously. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint the exact figures. But in general, on average, we do see shorter times on the market, as well as higher prices as well. And that's kind of been proven, like an industry study, like kind of nationwide. Like I said, it obviously depends on, the specific neighborhood and home.
Right.
But I think a lot of it also is when you come in there, like I said, we had one, actually we had staged over in Calusa Yacht and Racket. This was a couple years back, and we had been hired because it was an open concept, and the dining room, when you came in, looked absolutely tiny. And they just kept getting that feedback over and over and over. So one of the agents had called me and said, hey, we need to get this staged. And I said, okay, no problem. So we ended up staging, the dining room, and once it had furniture and everything in it, and it kind of matched the rest of the furniture in the house, and you kind of could see the flow, it sold within 2 days. So like I said, and we find that a lot. In fact, we just did one over in Cape Coral. And if you look at the before, and I haven't put any pictures up, but if you go to stagingmatters.net, it has some examples of before and after pictures. And I will be putting that one up shortly. And what a huge, huge difference. Like it doesn't even look like the same house. And then I also, when I go in, I kind of suggest paint colors and things too. And it's kind of nice because I'm the buffer. I'm not the agent in this case.
Right.
So I can kind of say that color's gross. So not really that direct, but I have a little bit more flexibility with saying, hey, if you really want to sell this house, these are the things you need to do. And that's hard to do as a listing agent, because you get a lot of pushback. So because they're like, it's your job to sell it, it's your job to market it, you figure out the colors. So me coming as an independent person, I can kind of say, you know what, this looks horrible on pictures, and that's how you're going to sell your house. So I have a little bit more leverage with the, with the sellers going in from that standpoint and saying, you really need to do this to sell your house. And of course, the agents truly appreciate that, because that's a lot of the, pushback they're getting from people that have been through the home.
Yeah. Now, do they include you with with their listing presentations? Like, is Staging Matters part of that, or do you just they get a listing agreement, then you come in on like problem ones?
Usually problem ones. There's a couple, yeah. The ones where we kind of start from the get-go are the builders. We work with them a lot. So we also had one over in Renaissance. And it was like a brand new construction build. And again, this was a couple of years back, but they were having problems because the backside of those homes are on 75, so all you can hear is traffic.
Right.
So as soon as they came in, so at least we gave them, something to look at and made it a little bit better, and suggested some like outdoor like fountains and music and things like that, just to kind of get it, so you can kind of get past that traffic noise. So those we usually do from the get-go, but we do get called in a lot for the problem houses that, just have issues. Or actually there's one we've been working with, Realty Rents, recently. And we did kind of 2 back-to-back homes for them. We had done one in Cape Coral, and then they had gotten one in Fort Myers. And she said, this home really needs you. So we went in on that one ahead of time. And again, that sold, I think it was under contract in 4 days. So it makes a huge difference. It's better to go in ahead of time, because then they don't sit on the market, but you can definitely tell between the before and after photos what a huge difference it truly makes.
Well, I can see where, as an agent or a seller, you try to save the money up front, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, our idea didn't work, no one bit or whatever. And they bring in the big guns. Staging matters.
Exactly. Well, and that's what we always recommend to our customers too. Do it up front, do it right to begin with, honestly, because when they see that days on market, that also affects your business, because they think, oh, in fact, I had a client yesterday that said, well, it's been on the market for 300 some days, so we're going to come in really low. Right. And I said, well, they've been decreasing the price pretty steadily, and right now it's at market price. So, but they still have it in their mind, they're going to steal this house because of days on market. So always better to go in from the get-go, do it right from the beginning.
I hear that on my end with buyers that are pre-approved, and maybe we're running numbers for them on a property they're going to offer. And you're right, the days on the market play into the psyche of that buyer and what they're going to offer. I hear that one a lot. So I can see where you'd want to get that listing sold quickly.
Yeah.
Is there a price range where staging really won't help, or won't, like, I mean, the 150, is there anything where it won't make sense to the agent to do it at a price range? Or
you know what, and it really depends per property. There's no set in stone, and there's really it's really a sliding scale, honestly. We have done one in a condo, and it was pretty much just a living room and a kitchen. It was a tiny little condo. And that was very, very inexpensive. And that made all the difference, because that was another one that looked terribly small in photos. And once it was staged, it sold pretty quickly. But then you have other ones where if you're doing a whole house, that gets, thousands and thousands of dollars. But most of the time what we're finding is we can get away with coming in doing kind of like the main living areas. They all know what bedrooms are, unless it's like a funky shape or a size. Typically we can get away with just doing like the main living areas, because really that's what your wow factor is when you come into most homes.
Right.
So, and like I said, and it varies. And like I said, the one we did over off McGregor for realty rents, that one was, very inexpensive. And like I said, it sold within a week. So that's a huge deal, because you got to kind of factor that in. So
did you base, and I'm just curious, do you base your cost or staging costs? Is it on square footage, or again, is it just what the client is going, like a living room this size is X amount, a kitchen is this amount, like, or
no, we really don't do that, because it varies so much. Like for example, the one we had just done over in Cape Coral, that one actually had 2 living areas. So that's a heck of a lot more furniture than one living space that same size. And it also depends on if it's, if there's stairs. In fact, we kind of stopped doing stilt homes. We did one on Sanibel Island. And after carrying the stuff up and down the stairs, we decided no more stilt homes. So, and then I also looked at
Dom throws back out. Dom throws.
Yes, I was miserable. So yeah, so we just, like I said, so it really depends on the ease of access as well. Like the one we did over in Serengeti, that was fabulous, because it was a brand new construction. We just basically, pulled right in, backed it up, put it all in the house. It was pretty cut and dry. But then others, like condos, depending on the condo, those tend to be a little bit higher, just because it's so hard to get the stuff up and down the elevators. And there's like certain buildings, you have to be very specific, like Riverside Club, for example. It's such a tiny elevator, you can't even get a normal size couch in there. So like I said, and you have to make, several trips. So you're pretty much spending an entire day. So those tend to be a little bit more. So it's really more about the time than anything else. So.
Gotcha. So what would be 2 more questions, and unless you think of something else you want to talk about.
Sure.
I would be curious, what trends do you see happening in real estate right now, as far as, because I'll admit it, I've been in your house and you're in Don's house, and you guys got so many cool, unique pieces going around everywhere. And me, like, my style is like, I want all the walls beige, like so boring. But
in our house, I will say this, and you can probably see behind me, this is our home office. This is not a house that's staged. This is a house we live in. So this is far too much for actually showing a house. So if I came in as a stager, we'd lose about half of the items in this room, but we live here. So that's completely different. And that's Don's stuff. So that's kind of staying. So,
but your living room and everything, you guys got it decked out. So
yeah, it is. And like I said, and that's the key, is you still have to pretty much remain neutral. As far as the trends go, it's pretty much Pinterest gray is the trend for everything right now.
Pinterest what?
Pinterest gray.
That's a color?
Gray, yeah. It's kind of a joke. There really is no Pinterest gray, but everything you see right now designer wise is kind of in the gray tones. And it's still kind of fading that way. We're kind of seeing the accessories switch over though. It was silver for a very long time. Now we're starting to see more of the golds, which I personally don't care for. In fact, we just bought 2 chairs and I spray painted the legs silver because I didn't like the gold. But
Okay.
like I said, but that's kind of starting to see the accent colors. And then we're starting to see some of the coppers come back, which I'm totally fine with the coppers as far as accent colors. I didn't like the gold. So I don't know, I guess it's an 80s retro thing. I just can't deal with it.
So
But
when
yeah,
does
so I would say gray and very neutral. And we're seeing a lot more white kitchens as well. Like people want lighter and brighter. We're starting to trend away from like the darker cabinets. So.
And you're moving towards more white cabinets.
Yeah, lighter cabinets. And I noticed we're also, we're having, and I don't know if it's the demographic that we have in some of the condos, but we're starting to see less of the stainless steel and more of the white refrigerators. It actually costs more sometimes to have those colors back. So, but like I said, we're starting to see that more and more. And then a lot of the higher end homes are having the, they don't want to see the appliances at all. So everything is built in now. And that's kind of the default by most of the builders. So.
Where do these styles start? Like, does it start from Pinterest or where does it all come
You know,
up?
and I think a lot of it has to do with that, but then you also have like the design magazines and things like that. So usually people kind of look and stay on trend. So if you see it in a magazine, it takes a little bit for it to filter through to like the general public. And then, you know, once the new trendy thing is on, once you've done your house, it's probably too late. You're probably past the trend and you need to do the next style. But
Like buying a hot stock, like you're too late.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I said, so gray is the trend right now, but that's starting to phase out. But like I said, we're starting to get more of the accessory colors. Like you're starting to see the golds and things like that. So.
What's when you walk into a house, what's the one? Give me one thing that makes you absolutely cringe.
You know, honestly, dark paint and dark walls. That's the worst thing you can do because people want light and bright, especially in Florida. And you know, you come in and it feels like a cave. It doesn't give that feeling. Like I said, I'd say about 80% of people have no imagination. So unless they see it, or if you even see some of the, and if you even see some of the different like home improvement shows, they're like, oh, I hate the blue, I hate the navy, and it's like, it's just paint, but people don't have that vision. So pretty much you have to kind of set it up for them and really, truly make it neutral. So.
Gotcha. So let's act like, you know, someone's selling their home and maybe they want to give a little bit of the staging their first, you know, they want to try it on their own for a little bit. Like, what are just a couple of things that you think would help out the most for someone wanting to sell their home?
I would say if you live there, absolutely clear as much stuff out as you can. You know, make the closets, empty them so it looks like you have closet space. Take the stuff off the floors. Whenever you have stuff sitting around, it makes it seem like you don't have enough storage to put something in. So, you know, that's one of the first things that I always do when I come through a house, you know, get the stuff up and put away. So, and honestly, even rent a storage unit, get some of that extra stuff out and just put it out. Because you can usually put it in a garage, but some people like the garage open too. So it's, like I said, just get rid of a lot. So,
Or just get it out of the house.
Yeah, you just don't want it to be cluttered. So.
I gotcha. Dude, cool. So, when are you and Don going to do a Staging Matters reality show together? That'd be pretty cool.
I yell too much and I have a potty mouth, so I don't see that happening. When my husband's involved. So I can keep it together for clients and for customers, but no, not my husband.
Don will push you over the edge.
Exactly. It won't be pretty online. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. Do you have anything else maybe we didn't cover that, you know, you think?
No. And like I said, if you want to see examples of our work, feel free to visit, it's stagingmatters.net.
Okay.
And like I said, we've got some before and after shots, and I try and update it periodically, but we're so busy right now moving furniture. So we're also trying to get a bigger warehouse because we actually reuse some of the same pieces over and over because they're very, very expensive. And a lot of them are lightweight. So it's taken us a long time to build up the inventory, and all of our stuff kind of matches each other too. So we're kind of running out of space. So, and for some reason, every time, all of the houses seem to sell in the exact same week. So everything comes back at the same time and everything goes out at the same time. So yeah, so we're in the process of looking for some new space. But like I said, check out stagingmatters.net. And like I said, you can see some great examples there.
Cool. Well, we'll put that link in the subject or the post wherever you guys are watching this or listening to it. We'll have that in there. They have a phone number they can call. You just want them to send them the website.
Yeah, actually, our main phone number is 239-313-5544.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So Tara, I appreciate you coming on from Staging Matters. You realtors out there, if you're looking for a company who wants to help you stage a home, reach out to Tara. She'll do a great job. Her and her husband, very trustworthy people. They'll do an awesome job for you. So Tara, thanks for being on. I appreciate you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And you guys out there, if I can help you or your clients with any kind of financing for your buyers, get pre-approved, whatever you need, contact me anytime. Always available to help 24/7. Just reach out to me. My phone number is 239-910-5668. Connect on social media all over the place. We're there. So again, guys, appreciate you. And if you do enjoy this podcast, please subscribe because we put out one of these every week trying to add value to your business. So take care, everybody. Tara, again, thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.